Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dycus and Mike Lefkow. Guys, how are you doing as we get ready for the weekend of football?
Doing well. Yeah.
Week 15. We're almost there to week 16 in the finish line. Just got done with the section championships. Hats off to all the teams that won. A lot of locals won, and then we did in our Monday morning column, we put together some data showing the differences between NCS and CCS. And as I was putting that stuff together, I was kind of thinking of Mike Lefkow. Lefty, what do you think when you see the numbers and see that the NCS is far behind in terms of competitive games?
Well, I was going to say, it just confirms what we've been saying all along, that the way the CCS does it is better.
Not perfect, though, but better.
No, not perfect by any means, but it is better. But in going, I covered the El Cerrito-Windsor game Friday night and was talking to some NCS officials, and I understand some of the problems they're running into. I think the NCS commissioner, Pat Cruikshank, I think he would like to do something similar to what CCS does. But, the section is just too big and too unwieldy. And, they have schools up north that don't see eye to eye with schools in Alameda and Contra Costa counties.
It's almost as if those schools need their own little section, right? I mean,
maybe they go into the northern section, but
it's kind of hard to go over the mountain range. But
but I mean, that's one of the problems, is that NCS is just too large geographically,
right?
And it causes some of the problems. But and
everybody has equal votes, and we're not saying that they shouldn't. That's not a thing that we're advocating, to not have equal votes. But when you look at the playoffs, and there were 48 games played in the NCS playoffs, and by our count, 31 of them were decided by 20 points or more. That's pretty staggering, right?
Oh, it's very staggering.
15 of the 35 in the CCS were decided by 15 or more. The other number that stood out to me, I'm going to look here, calling this up, was games decided by 40 or more. One game in the CCS was decided by 40 or more out of 35, and 9 out of the 48 in the NCS were decided by 40 points or more. It's staggering. Hopefully the NCS's brain trust, the member schools, can put their minds together and come up with a plan. The one thing that kind of alarmed me, and I think we've addressed this before on the show, is that the CCS, and they're going to propose some tweaks to their format, and it starts with the coaches. They have a coach who represents every league, and they all meet. I think they're going to be meeting this week. It's usually the Wednesday after the section playoffs end, so everything's fresh in their minds, and they meet and they present plans amongst themselves. And then from there, if they agree on a plan, a tweak, or major overhaul, it goes through the athletic directors and then the principals, and all the way to the board of managers. And then the board of managers gets a first reading probably in January, and then they make their final vote at the spring meeting in April. So I don't think the NCS has that. I remember talking to a coach last year and letting him know what the CCS does to make changes. And the NCS coaches don't meet at the end of the season within the section, at the section office to discuss changes. At least that's what the coach told me last year. So I don't even, Mike Lefkow, you've been around a long time. I mean, do you even know how the changes are made in the NCS? I mean, do they just show up at the board of managers meeting and present and hope that the board moves it forward?
I think that's the way they do it. Yeah, they have these board of manager meetings, and that's where they do them. I had one coach in the NCS tell me that he's never talked to a section official 40 some odd years. So
I think every league needs to be represented, right? Like they do in the CCS, and that's
No, every league is represented. Yeah,
you can't just have 4 coaches from the WCAL and 3 from the 3
BAL.
from the PAL and make
when they
changes.
have their board of managers, they have them up at what is the old Del Valle High School in Walnut Creek is where they used to have them, and they've got a big table and there's representatives sitting all around them. And I mean, so everybody is represented, and they listen and discuss ideas and then eventually make decisions. But yeah, they don't have a meeting. They're not going to be meeting next week this week, as far as I know of.
Right. Well, the one thing that I'm hearing about CCS is possibly getting A-League teams out of Division 5, which is it turned out this year that the way it turned out is, I mean, Santa Teresa was from an A-League, but they lost to a C-League team in South San Francisco. So that's what we would see down in Division 5 as a C or a B-League team winning Division 5, and then A's can go no lower than 4. Whether that passes, we'll find out. But I've heard that that's going to be something discussed. So,
well, to me, that was the one big flaw with the CCS. If you look at the last 3 divisions this year, divisions 3, 4, and 5, 7 of the 24 teams were sub 500. That's one short of a third of the teams were sub 500. Now, I mean, you can't.
Well, that's the problem with having A leagues. So if you spread them out within their districts, or leagues within districts, or leagues within little pockets of geographical areas, you're going to have 70-0 blowouts. Well, the CCS is back in the early 90s made this change where they were going to have a power structure league, so they were way ahead of the curve. And by doing that, they award more spots into the playoffs for teams that are having to play heavyweights up at the top. I mean, like a Mountain View or Palo Alto. Now they're not at the level that they were 15 years ago, but you open the door for them to have an opportunity to go to the playoffs without being in a league that they're going to win games 70-0 every week.
Right.
So that's the thing with the CCS, and we can argue till we're blue in the face about 4 and 6, 3 and 7 teams making it, but that's the reason why.
No, I understand that's the reason why, but my own personal opinion is, the strength of schedule stuff that everybody worries about. Maybe I'm just kind of disgusted with the whole thing, but I look at where I went to college at San Jose State, not playing in that Mountain West Conference championship game. Well, yeah, I think strength of schedule may have hurt them. I don't know.
No, I don't. Well, I'm not sure what hurt them. I mean, they have a stronger strength of schedule than UNLV, but that's going off topic a little bit. Let's move on to our takeaways from the playoffs. We know what the data show, but I want to give a couple of shout outs. I mean, Dylan Daniels in Mountain View, a heartbreaking story at the beginning of the season where he suffered a devastating injury, and then his mom passed a couple days later after collapsing on the field that night. I'm obviously rooting for that kid to, he's been through, he and his family have been through, unimaginable tragedy. And he was out there cheering on his team. He had taken on a role of photographing on the sideline. So that was great to see. But you could see the hurt still, months later during the game. And as he said, they came that close to winning the section championship, which would have been, storybook in a sense. So shout out to him. Also, shout out to Luke Baker, who, suffered a leg injury, fractured bone in his lower leg in the NCS championship game against Pittsburgh. He reached out to us. He thanked us all for our coverage, which just shows what the character of the person that Luke is. He, not only a really good football player and a tough kid, obviously, but he is all class. So shout out to Luke. I'll let you guys go. Joseph, what were your takeaways? Any personal thoughts?
Well, I mean, I guess I I got to cover Los Gatos versus Wilcox, and I think we all expected that to be a great game, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a great game.
No,
I mean, it was a blowout. I mean, it was a great game
Well,
for Los Gatos, obviously,
yeah.
but it wasn't a great game in terms of what we're talking about, wanting games to go down to the end. So yeah, that was a shocker.
It was a shocker, and other than that, I mean, getting to see really just, I mean, Los Gatos, they seem to be peaking at the right time. Seem to be playing very well, and now they have to play El Cerrito, which is where Mike Lefkow was, right?
Yeah.
On Friday. Kind of curious, what do you think about that matchup?
I think it's a very interesting matchup of any of the matchups that I'd kind of want to see this weekend.
Yeah.
That might be the game. I mean, I was disappointed that they didn't match Pittsburg and De La Salle. I think that would have been a lot of fun. But I think El Cerrito and Los Gatos could be an interesting game. They're definitely different teams, that's for sure.
Mike Lefkow, what are your takeaways from the playoffs? What any thoughts, any surprises, any single players that you want to give a shout out to?
I think the one shout out I would give would be to South San Francisco. I mean, that guy, the coach there, has done a terrific job of turning that program around. Mm-hmm. They didn't have varsity 2 years ago, and now they're playing for a NorCal championship. I mean, man alive, and his two sons are coordinators. What a story that is. I mean, they did have a good football program at one time, many, many years ago, and then he's turned that back into a very good football team. And I think he deserves a world of credit. That's where my shout out would go, to that coach in that school.
Good. That's a good shout out there. I mean, what a story about the South San Francisco, because a couple of years ago they didn't even have varsity football, and now they're having celebrations on the sideline after beating Santa Teresa for the CCS Division 5 title on Saturday night. You guys ready to do picks, or do you guys have anything else to add before we move forward?
I think it's time to make picks.
Mike Lefkow, you ready?
Yep, go for it.
All right, we're going to start. Speaking of South San Francisco, we're going to start on Saturday, Division 6A, where Calusa at 12-0 will be traveling to face South San Francisco at 12-1. It's going to be a 6 o'clock start.
Well, I was going to ask one question before we get into that.
Okay.
How do they determine who the home teams are? Because Calusa is ranked a lot higher by Cal Preps.
They're not going. They don't seed. I didn't call them this year, but I've asked this in the past. They don't seed. They try to spread the wealth equally among sections to give sections certain home games. So it's not. There's no high seed, low seed in this thing.
I thought that might be the case, but I just thought
that's why talking to people, about De La Salle, that there was hope that they would get a home game because they traveled last year. They had to go to Folsom last year, so that they got a home game this year after being on the road last year. So I think that's how it works. Even if you're a higher seed, you might be traveling, which in the case of Clovis North is traveling to De La Salle on Friday night. So let's get back to Calusa, 12-0, South San Francisco, 12-1. I almost circled Calusa, but South San Francisco, I think the whole town is going to be out there on Saturday night. They had by our metrics, there was a lot of interest in South San Francisco.
Yes, there was.
So I'm thinking that there's going to be a lot of interest there on Saturday night. I'm going to go with South San Francisco to win narrowly. Mike Lefkow, who you taking?
Yep, I'm going to take the Warriors. I think they are going to complete this trip.
Joseph.
I hate to agree with you guys. I'm making South San Francisco, and I do want to give a shout out to Glenn Reeves for writing a great game story after their win.
Yes, he got great stuff. Not only insight from Glenn, but also from great quotes from the coach and one of his star players. So that was a very nice job by Glenn on Saturday night. 6 AA. This is a team that I covered last week. Palo Alto won narrowly over Mountain View, stopping a 2-point play in the last minute that prevented Mountain View from winning the Division 4 championship. So Palo Alto back-to-back section championships, last year in Division 5 at CCS, this year in Division 4. They are in the 6 AA game. I think they were in 6A last year when they lost to Santa Teresa. Anyhow, they're going to go be playing St. Vincent de Paul from Petaluma at Casa Grande High. Wanted to take Palo Alto, but this St. Vincent team is something else. I'm taking St. Vincent. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I got to go with St. Vincent de Paul. Some of the stuff I've learned about that program, they're pretty tough.
They're pretty tough. All right. Joseph?
You know what? They are pretty tough, but I'm also mathematically eliminated from winning this competition. So I have nothing to lose. I'm going to call the upset. Give me Palo Alto.
Palo Alto to pull off the upset on the road to make it to state. And this year for these divisions, it's not playing at home in the state championship next week. It's going to Southern California. So everybody is playing to go to one of the sites in Southern California. Right now, our coverage area has one team there, Sarah, which will be playing for the Open Division Championship. We'll talk more about that next week. They're going to be playing Mater Dei. So Division 5 AA, this game is on Friday in Chico, or Pleasant Valley Chico, which has had a long history of being in the regionals and state games. We'll be at home to play Miramone. Miramone 9-3, Pleasant Valley 9-3. I got Pleasant Valley winning this game. Joseph, who you got?
Again, I got to go with Miramonte. I called Jack Schramm on the bus when him and the team are going back to Orinda, and he said, we've got 2 more games in us.
All right. Well, that's we'll see if the
we'll see if he's right. I think he's right.
If the Mats can get down to SoCal. Mike Lefkow, who you got? Are the Mats going to be in SoCal with us?
I got to go with Pleasant Valley. I think that's like you say, that's a long history of success there, and I think it's going to continue this weekend.
CalPreps agrees. They're taking Pleasant Valley 35-17. I neglected to say that St. Vincent de Paul by CalPreps' computer is 38-27 winner, according to the computer, over Palo Alto. And the computer also has Calusa winning 22-13 over South San Francisco. Division 4A on Saturday. Joseph, I think you're going to be there. Afternoon game. We're Marin Catholic at 12-1. Only loss was to San Marin. Going to be playing McClymonds 9-2 or 8-2. If they count this forfeit win over Skyline, I think they're 9-2. I penciled them at 9-2. Their losses were to De La Salle on the road and San Ramon Valley on the road. I'm taking Mac in this game. Joseph, who you got?
As you can probably sense from the theme, I'm just picking all the local teams. I took McClymonds, but Marin Catholic is a very, very. I mean, all these teams are really good.
Marin Catholic's terrific. I just don't see Michael Peters coming up short of getting back to a state championship game in his last season. So right. I think Mac will cross that bridge, the Richmond San Rafael Bridge.
My favorite bridge in the world.
And be ready to play. Yep. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you in this one. I'm going to go with Marin Catholic. That'd be great if McClymonds wins. It would be a great story, but that game up there, I tend to think Marin Catholic pulls this one off.
Okay, there we go. And the computer agrees with you, taking Marin Catholic 27-17. But I think that largely has to do with the fact that Mac lost a lot of points playing in the OAL. Yeah. So, their strength of schedule went way down. So Mac's very good. We saw him early in the season. So we'll see how that goes.
Biggest problem for McClymonds is just seeing a team that good for the first time in how long?
2 months.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
That's another discussion. Maybe we'll have an end of year show of what we want to get off our chest. But Mac in the OAL right now is
They got to figure it out.
Not a good thing. So anyhow, 3AA. This game is going to be on Friday. Joseph, you're going to be there. It's going to be in Lafayette, where Acalanes will be at home, coming off the win over San Marin, which beat Marin Catholic to end the regular season. So Acalanes red hot since losing to Campolindo, where they were up 14 in the middle of the fourth quarter at home to win the league title outright, and Campo rallied for 15 points to win. So Acalanes has really righted the ship since that game, and they'll be at home to play Escalon. Am I pronouncing that right? Escalon?
I think that's right. Yeah, Escalon.
Ooh, this was a tough one, but I'm going Acalanes to win at home to get Floyd Burnshead to a state championship game in Southern California. Joseph, who you got?
Same. I'm taking Acalanes.
Mike Lefkow?
I'm going to go with the Dons, Acalanes. Yep.
All right, and the computer makes it a clean sweep, going with Acalanes 31-28. 3 more games on our list. This is a Saturday game, Division 2A. As Mike Lefkow pointed out earlier, and Joseph as well, that this is one of the games that jumps off the page, where El Cerrito at 12-1, its only loss was on the road to De La Salle in a game that was scheduled in the middle of the week. After both teams had teams forfeit against them earlier in the week or pull out. I guess they didn't count as forfeits, so withdrew, didn't play. They'll be traveling to Los Gatos. Los Gatos red hot, 11-2. Had a great run to win the CCS Division I championship. This Los Gatos team has been something else.
Mm-hmm.
They tested themselves early against Pittsburg. They got a game against Grant, which is an athletic team. El Cerrito, I've seen they pass the eye test. They look really good. But I'm taking the Wildcats at home. I'm taking Los Gatos to win a really good game. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Los Gatos as well. I think it's going to be it's a very intriguing matchup to me. And very different teams, I think. But I think Los Gatos being at home probably is the difference.
Los Gatos has seen all kinds of styles, and I think they've seen styles like El Cerrito when playing the Pirates and Pittsburg and then Grant at home too. Although they lost both those games. So
they did.
Yes. Joseph, who you got?
I'll take Los Gatos, but I don't feel great about it.
I felt some trepidation there as you were.
You definitely felt some trepidation there. I mean, El Cerrito they're really good.
Well, they're big, they're athletic. I mean, they've got it pretty much.
They've got talent, but yeah, Los Gatos at home. I picked them to win CCS. Why not pick them to win NorCal too? Right?
They definitely passed the eye test.
Yeah, they
look very, very good. So, and they, I don't know what kind of crowd they're going to bring to Los Gatos. They brought a nice festive crowd to De La Salle. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, De La Salle much shorter drive for.
They brought an okay crowd to the game the other night. It wasn't huge, but it was okay.
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. 2 more games on our list. This is a game that's going to be in Folsom Saturday night, Division 1A, where Pittsburg at 13-0 did not get the home game. Will be on the road. They had a home game last year in the regional, although Folsom's back at home for yet another home game on the blue turf. Folsom's at 11-2, and we all know who those 2 losses were against. De La Salle and Sarah. I'll let you guys go first here. You guys have, and I'll show you what I've circled, so I'm not touching my pad. Joseph Dycus, you go first.
If this game was being played in Pittsburgh, I would take the Pirates, but they're having to go play on that blue turf at Folsom. But also, Darren, you're going to be at that game, right? And didn't you say that you have never seen Folsom win a game in Folsom?
Yes, and we counted that up. I think Folsom is 0-6 since 2015 in games that I've covered there. Losing to Bellarmine, Sarah, and 4 times to De La Salle, I think. Something like that.
With that said, I'm taking Folsom to win a thriller.
So Charlie Ramirez will not have the storybook finish at state championship in his first season.
No.
Wow. Okay. Mike Lefkow.
Well, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think this is a really good team. It might be all the way around. It might be the best team they've had in many years. It's just they seem to be a team that has a lot of talent, and they seem to be playing well together. They put it all together this season, and I think this might be the year they go up there and they pull it off.
And
I circled Pittsburgh too.
Oh,
Pittsburgh, and I'm taking Pittsburgh because you're right, Mike Lefkow. This team has an edge about it, but it also has a lot of talent. It also isn't playing out of control. The stat that jumped off the page against San Ramon in the first half was 0 penalties for Pittsburgh. When's the last time you remember Pittsburgh not having any penalties in a half, Mike Lefkow?
Long. I don't know if I ever remember something like that. I'm sure it's happened.
Right.
But it's the other thing too about Pitt this year is I really like that quarterback Alcantara. I think he is. He showed last year that he was a special talent, and then they got Searcy when he transferred over from Liberty with Elijah Bowe in the backfield. That is
That's a tough one. That's a tough 1-2 punch.
Yeah, there is. There's no
playing out of his mind right now. I mean, he's just been unbelievable. So, and then of course it does. As I told Charlie the other day when we were on the phone, I didn't realize you had a 3rd and 14, 99-yard pass for a touchdown in your playbook, and he laughed. It was yeah, that was again. I mean, you look back at that San Ramon game. There's 2 or 3 plays that if they go the other way, we're talking about San Ramon playing in this week. So, but it wasn't to be for San Ramon. Great season, but Pittsburgh's run will continue at least until Saturday night at Folsom, and we'll see if they can make it back to state. Last game on the list, 1AA. It'll be in Concord on Friday night. I'll be there. Where De La Salle will be playing Clovis North. Clovis North at 13-0. De La Salle at 10-2. Spartans have won 10 in a row. I talked to Justin Allenbaugh, De La Salle coach, on Sunday, and he said that this game could be over in a hurry.
Yeah,
because both teams like to run. So I told him I don't think it will be any quicker than De La Salle San Ramon 2, which in the Open Division Championship game was over at 8:55 and a game that kicked off at 7 o'clock. But we'll see. I went back and forth on this. I mean, Clovis North had a great season, won a section championship. I think it was their first one in a decade or a little more. But I'm going to go the Spartans. I'm taking De La Salle to win to get back to state. I think the week off last week, they rest up some people and get the bodies right, and I think they'll be fresh, and I think De La Salle will win this game. Be close, but I think De La Salle is going to win. Joseph, who you got?
I think De La Salle wins too. I mean, I saw them once this year. Very, 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 probably the most physical team I saw all year. And this Clovis North team, like you said, they run the ball. They run probably the veer or something.
I don't know if they run the veer. No, I think they run power. I don't think they run the veer. Double tights. Yeah, I don't think it's the veer. And De La Salle clearly isn't the veer like it was in their heyday. So, so you're saying De La Salle?
De La Salle, and I'll even throw out a score. I think it's 21-10, De La Salle.
Wow, look at you throwing out scores, man. I'm not throwing out a score. Mike Lefkow, you throwing out a score?
No.
Wow, quick.
He didn't even need much time to think about it. Just no. All right. Well, give me a winner.
I am going to go with De La Salle. I think they're playing very good defense right now. And there's some thoughts that I have about De La Salle. I think this team they got off to that slow start this season, but they're playing very well. There are reasons they are playing very well. And I think they're going to conclude, they go to state, but I think they're going to conclude the Northern California portion of it with a victory on Friday night.
There you go. Guys, you have anything else to add before we wrap this one up and get ready for regional championship weekend? Joseph, I'll let you go first.
Just looking forward to seeing how many of our local teams get down there to Southern California after this week.
True.
We got a chance for a bunch of them.
Yeah, we'll see. Mike Lefkow, you have anything else to add?
No, like I say, there are a couple pretty intriguing matchups this week. I think that Acalanes game against Escalon is another intriguing game. We'll see how some of these games come out. There could be how many local teams down there could be.
We could, if everybody wins, we're going to have 9. We're guaranteed 2. Right now, we're guaranteed 2. El Cerrito or Los Gatos and Sarah. And Sarah. We'll see. We'll see what else happens there. That's it for me. I'm ready to get ready for for some football. Basketball, right, Joseph? We saw some basketball last weekend.
We saw some basketball. Bishop O'Dowd Showcase and Jerry Freitas's
NorCal Tip-Off Classic.
Tip-Off.
All right.
One more thing. It would be kind of fun to see Acalanes go down there with Floyd Burnshead. You know, he's been a great football coach for a long time, and he's in the Miramonte High School Hall of Fame for his football coaching there. So
Miramonte and Floyd go.
That would be interesting if both of them were down there. But you know, he had a great career at Miramonte High School too. Like I say, he's in their Hall of Fame. So it'd be kind of fun to see him get to state.
That would be fun. I mean, they were the last time I saw them, they were so heartbroken after losing to Campolindo. It was great to see them bounce back and to make a run and to beat San Marin, which was no easy task last week.
Right. And you know, he's not a young man anymore either. He's in his 70s.
Yeah. Well, he does a great job there.
He does.
They have a very nice team. So anyhow,
great quarterback coach.
Check us out. mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Thanks for watching as always.